3. Gloating Goblins. Mrs. Best strode back towards the school, and Mr. Beaker sighed. "All right, class," he said. "Let's tidy up the course." Most of the children wanted to help, but the goblins just kept messing about, giggling and shoving each other. Mr. Beaker didn't even seem to notice. "Rachel and Kirsty, could you straighten up the cones, please?" he asked. The girls jogged over to the cone section and started to neaten them up. "What an awful lesson," said Kirsty. "I hope that we can do better tomorrow. Mr. Beaker looked really upset." Rachel didn't reply because she had spotted something very strange. A faint golden glow was coming from underneath one of the purple cones. She nudged Kirsty, who lifted up the cone to look underneath it. They heard the sound of a tiny whistle, and then Kathryn, the PE fairy, fluttered out and waved at them. "Hello, girls," she called. She was wearing white jeans decorated with red hearts, a pink sports jacket, and a pretty pink ribbon in her hair. "Hello, Kathryn," said Kirsty. "What are you doing here?" "Queen Titania was watching your lesson in her seeing pool," Kathryn explained. "It went wrong because the goblins have got my magical gold star badge. I've come to ask for your help." At the start of the week, Kirsty and Rachel had met Marissa the Science Fairy, one of the school days fairies, and she had asked them to help her find her magical gold star badge, which naughty Jack Frost had stolen. The girls found out that he had taken the badges for 4 subjects: science, art, reading, and PE. He was planning to start his own school for goblins and teach them all about himself. Without the badges, lessons had turned into a disaster in both the human world and fairyland. But the worst thing was that Queen Titania and King Oberon were coming to look around the fairyland school. Unless the fairies got the magical star badges back, the royal visit would be ruined. Rachel, Kirsty, and Marissa found out that Jack Frost had expelled 2 misbehaving goblins from his school, and they had stolen the magical gold star badges from him. These were the goblins at Tippington School. Rachel smiled at Kathryn. "We found the badges that belonged to Marissa the Science Fairy, Allison the Art Fairy, and Lydia the Reading Fairy," she said. "I'm sure we can help you find yours too." "Rachel, Kirsty," called Mr. Beaker. "It's almost time for the bell. Please join the rest of the class." Quickly, Kathryn darted into the pocket of Kirsty's PE shirt. The girls hurried over to join the other pupils. "Before you all go and get changed, I want to talk about tomorrow," said Mr. Beaker. "There was only one team who managed to finish the course today. Well done, boys." The goblins sniggered, but everyone else looked very glum. "It's really important for the school that we all do well in front of Mrs. Best in the morning," said Mr. Beaker. "Please, could you all try to memorize the rules tonight and practice at home if you can? Remember, the first person has to weave through the line of cones with a beanbag on their head. The second person throws the net ball into a basket. The third person must do 20 skips, and then the fourth person crawls under the net to the finish line. Don't forget to tag the next team member as a signal to go." "We'll do our best to make everything all right tomorrow, sir," said Kirsty. Mr. Beaker gave her a worried smile. "All I ask is that you all do your best," he said. "Now, I have asked today's winning team to give you all a demonstration." Puffing out their chests and looking very smug, the goblins stepped forward. Rachel suddenly realized that if everyone was watching the goblins, they wouldn't notice if she and Kirsty slipped away. There were some spare cones behind them. As the first goblin set off with a beanbag on his head, Rachel pulled her best friend's arm and ducked down behind the cones. "This is our chance to find out where the goblins are hiding Kathryn's magical badge," she whispered. "Kathryn, could you turn us into fairies? Then we can watch the goblins really closely without being seen." The fairy had poked her head over the edge of Kirsty's t-shirt pocket, and now she pulled out her wand. "I'm glad you're going to be fairy-sized for a while," she said with a smile. "It means that I can give you a proper hug."